Hey everyone, Zoro here. Time for, the next review. And this is actually going to be pretty much similar to, the other quickie I did for, what's it called again? I can't remember at the moment. I'm just, doing this on the fly. Uh, so originally I was going to have this review set up for October. Unfortunately, the script just did not want to flow right with me. And then the next month after that, I finally got some things in order in my life, and that has been pretty much been keeping me busy for the last couple of months. And this has still been on my mind for that time, just trying to figure out how to get the script to work, how I want to record this, all of that. I even have all the footage for the game done, and nothing just wanted to flow right with me. So I'm scrapping the script for now, and I'm just going to do it like this. So it's not the same. It's not going to be the same quality as the other Resident Evil reviews I've been doing. Hopefully, this doesn't become a permanent thing too. Just because I do have another couple games I do want to review. I got picked up some that have picked up my interest, and I do want to talk about them. So we'll see how this goes. If the next one, if the next review I decide to do is giving me problems like this, I might do this again. Who knows? Alright, so let's start with the development cycle for Resident Evil Zero. The game came out in November 12th, 2002 for the GameCube. And I've mentioned before during the Resident Evil 3 review that before that game came out, they started working on 3 different Resident Evil titles. One of them being the Resident Evil 3 that got scrapped and changed to I can't remember at the moment. And then the 2 spin-offs where one of them became Resident Evil 3 and this one that we're going to be talking about. This was originally going to be a spin-off for the Nintendo 64, and it was going to feature similar things. For one thing, the character zapping, which would let you switch between characters, was always something that's been on the table for them. As time went on, though, the limitations of the Nintendo 64 started coming up, and because of this, they decided to switch all their progress to the GameCube, which I think was recently announced during that time. And also during that time, I don't remember exactly what. I really should have actually looked at the script that I've written down when I decided to do this. Uh, they went from a spin-off to becoming part of the mainline story as a prequel. So that happened. The game came out really good at the time. A couple years later, it got remastered for modern consoles, and that's pretty much what this review is going to be based on. It's going to be based on the remastered version of Resident Evil Zero. Since the Resident Evil Zero is a prequel to Resident Evil 1, spoilers, wherever here it is, to skip them. So, the story is pretty much what happened to the first team before Resident Evil 1. We follow Jill. No, it's not Jill. Why did I write down Jill right there? Rebecca. We follow Rebecca just as they land in the forest. And a couple of things end up happening, and she ends up on a train that was well, not abandoned, but it's infested with zombies. And she ends up meeting with Billy, who later on in the story you get to it explains his backstory as being used to being part of the army, and now he's been convicted and he is being moved from one base to another. I think for his execution. They go from a train to another mansion, which is not the Spencer mansion. And from there, pretty much exploring, trying to get out of there, finding out what's happened. And as time goes on, they end up going into one of the labs and end up going to the factory from Resident Evil 2 and the lab. That was actually a nice surprise there. After all that's done, they end up going to a water treatment facility where they have a final confrontation with the main enemy of Resident Evil 0. Once that's done, it gets blown up, and we see them on a hill overlooking the Spencer mansion, where Rebecca goes to that mansion and Billy just leaves. I'm just giving a really short-handed version of the story, but that's pretty much how it kind of goes for it. And the story is fine for the most part. It does feel a little kind of shoehorned in just because it's a prequel. It does give a bit of explanation of how the virus was made and all of that. But you don't really need to know the story for like the rest of the Resident Evil mainline story. Unless it's brought up in Resident Evil 8 or something, I don't know. I have not touched it yet. I kind of want to do it like as I start reviewing that one. So, yeah. So let's quickly talk about gameplay. Again, controls are mostly the same. You still got the tank controls and all that. I think you can change that in the remaster. I don't remember checking. Yeah, but the main thing I want to talk about right here, right now, is the zapping feature that was made for Resident Evil 0. It allows you to switch between both Rebecca and Billy right on the fly with just one button press. That was actually one of the main reasons that was giving them a couple of issues with the console limitations, among other things. Beforehand, it was instantaneous on the N64, but with the move to GameCube, it now like has to load a bit if they're in separate areas. You can have them both together or separate, and you can also set up one of them to not fire, not waste the ammunition that they have, because they both have a small inventory. They both have 6 slots in their inventory, and there is no item boxes in the game. If you want to get something else that's in the room but you don't have the space for it, you have to drop whatever item you have in your inventory to make room. And unfortunately, some of the weapons in the game, like the shotguns, they take 2 inventory slots. So that's annoying. What else do I have here? Or what else can I talk about for the gameplay? Yeah, there's no item boxes, so you leave everything on the ground. When you open up the map, there is actually a function that you can open up, and it'll show you where you've dropped anything that you had in your inventory. So that's a good thing. What just sucks about it is that you need to run back to where you dropped it to pick it up again if you need it later on. In terms of the graphics, for both like the regular GameCube version and the remaster, they both look good. They both look splendid. I think the remaster does do a few changes for the good. I just can't remember what the changes were at the moment. So there's nothing wrong with the graphics for both the GameCube version or the or the newer console versions. Uh, oh, I can. Earlier I mentioned that the factory and the lab from Resident Evil 2 make a return. You can't really explore them, as it would technically break continuity. But both of them look fantastic with the changes. In terms of music, it's what you would expect. It still sounds good. It still has that creepy vibe and all that. I think the save room music is still good. There's so many save room musics, I can't remember them all, and right now I just realized the one that's popped up in my head was for Code Veronica, and that music's fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, the music is still good. It still has its points where it builds up, meaning that you're pretty much in danger, and that's honestly related to the leech zombies that are unique to this game. And honestly, I've written them down right here. This like short, tiny, like little notes here that I have for this as awfully disturbing, considering they squish when they walk, and it is. And knowing what those things can do, that is very disturbing. Oh, I forgot to mention that this game also has it introduces Molotov cocktails. Now that I actually brought up the leech zombies, because the fire is the only thing that can do heavy damage to them, and the Molotov cocktails you can actually throw them to do AoE damage. Pretty much, you can have fire on the ground. The one issue I have with those things though is that you throw them from your right, and if you're right next to a wall, if you're standing next to a wall on your right and you're about to throw a Molotov cocktail, it's going to hit that wall and it's going to burst right on top of you and it's going to hurt you. That's honestly one of my bigger annoyances with the game. All right, now do I recommend this game? Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah. Um, in terms of the mainline story, if you're interested in how the virus has been made, go for it. If you're a big Resident Evil fan, go for it. If you're even curious about like the zapping system, go for it. Honestly, I would just say just if you just curious about the game at all, I do recommend it. Uh, it does have a little bit of. Well, you see, this is what I meant that I've had issues with trying to write this script. Is that I don't know how I feel about this game. Like, I do enjoy it, I do want to recommend it, but I just don't understand or like how to put into words on why. It's difficult for me. Um, and that's honestly like the one thing that's been on my mind for these last couple of months, trying to write down this script. And yes, I do have like a 5-page script set up for this game, but I don't like how I wrote it down. Excuse me. So I do recommend it. I just don't know what reason to actually give for it. I guess it's just another good Resident Evil game. That's all I can really say. Um, I do want to talk about one thing, and it is a spoiler for the end if you skip the spoilers. But I will say this. At the end of the game, Billy leaves, and he is never heard from again. Uh, I am not sure if he shows up in anything else. Give me a quick second. No, just really. No. Yeah, the only other time he's shown up in Resident Evil is under the Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles game, which is a light gun game. Gotta love that. That's another game I kind of want to talk about, like, in the far future. So we'll just leave that there. But yeah, Billy has no impact on Resident Evil at all, except for just this one game. Okay, the game does cost $20 on the newer consoles. PS3, PS4, 360, Xbox One, the Switch, and on Steam. And this remaster also has DLC. It's only cosmetic DLC though, so not the biggest thing to worry about. And most of the cosmetic DLC is just different costumes for Rebecca. I think Billy might have like one DLC right there. And that's about it for Resident Evil 0. I'm not 100% satisfied with this review, to be honest. So I may come back to it at a later point in the future. But yeah, like I said, real life has now taken a bit more priority over these reviews now. So at the moment, Resident Evil Veronica is the last of the fixed camera quote-unquote marathon I'm doing here. Might actually put that one up maybe like sometime at the end of the year. I don't know. I need to replay that game again. In terms of reviews for other games, I have a couple in mind. One of them I would like to mention right now would be Chocobo GP. I have picked it up. I have played it, and I am not going to review it just yet right now. I'm actually waiting till the next season because Square has mentioned that they have taken note of the issues and they plan on fixing them on the next season, which I want to see that first before I actually talk about it. In terms of the next review, like I said, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I will not make it another 6-month long stint of me not uploading anything. So until then, later.